Do you read Gawker? Have you read Gawker, Kelsey?
I can't say I have. The name sounds somewhat familiar, but no.
I mean, I'm sure there will be people in the audience who are a lot more aware of what Gawker is than I am. But from what I can tell and from what I've found is that Gawker is essentially a blog. It used to be really popular. People used to read it all the time. Fell out of favor a little bit from what I've seen. You know, the types of things they used to sort of cover would definitely not fly these days. Wouldn't isn't the kind of content that people would at least let's put it this way, there might be an audience for it, but there'll be a group who would cry out against Gawker. Anyway, from brand new, they've shown this refresh. This is for me at least one instance where, you know, about time is all I can
shocking.
say.
I don't think I ever saw that old logo. That's dreadful.
It is horrible. Saying that though, I do wonder if they could have kept the box like this a similar approach and created a more minimal version rather than going in again the Shandon-esque. This one's has a bit more personality, but it's really just a direction that I don't know. It just seems to be very commonplace nowadays, especially on blogs and magazines.
Yeah, it's definitely that same modern approach. Everything's sort of falling into the same line, I guess. I mean, anything's an improvement on the old one, though. Like, there's not a single colour in that old one that's nice to look at. That's really
yeah,
bugging
and
me.
the contrast ratios are off.
Yeah.
I actually wonder what the application of that logo, the old logo, would have been or looked like in the past. But again, maybe I'm not across Gawker or aware of Gawker as much as maybe I should be. So maybe it's such an old blog that back at one point it was very relevant and very sort of on trend. Maybe early 2000s, late 90s. I don't know. Looking at their website though, now to me, like their logo was fine, but this website, oh man, I am not a fan. Especially like, I mean, this is a single post is what we would call it. So this is just a welcome to Gawker from a letter from the editor.
Oh, this isn't the homepage?
No, so let me jump to the homepage.
I was looking at on my screen and it was, yeah, I was seeing that and I was like, why does this look so different?
Yeah, so this is the homepage. Just I don't know. I'm confused. There's a lot of fonts. There's a lot of colors. It's doing a lot and doing nothing at the same time. I think this is sort of the bad Twitter redesign on another level. Like if you took Twitter's redesign with a high contrast and then just added more fonts, I think that's where we end up with. You know, it's doing that thing that I mentioned with color palettes with like a whole bunch of bright colors as well. It's a bit all over the place. It's quite a brutalist sort of approach. It fits within the grid, fantastic, but you know, just because I love grids, don't get me wrong, it's so organized and so perfect, but it's what they're doing within these grids, like, I just don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I think on like first impression, it's difficult to understand what's happening, but I would probably say if you were a regular reader of Gawker, you'd probably adjust this pretty quickly. Because like looking at this more and more, you're like, okay, I can see that there's the heading is the center, associated image on the left, and then like a little bit more info on the right. And then there's kind of some like extra words for whatever reason. I mean, obviously the author's in there, but like...
I love the extra words for whatever reason comment.
I don't know. I mean, I'm looking at Chomp Chomp and I'm sort of like, okay, I thought maybe that was a category. It could still be a category. I'm pretty sure in the menu system they've got a category that's literally just Chrissy Teigen. Teigen.
Is it Teigen?
It's Teigen, yes. There was a big thing where she
yeah.
corrected it one day because nobody pronounced it right, but it's Teigen.
Right.
Although knowing me, I've
Well,
probably stuffed up that pronunciation anyway.
so looking at the menu, yeah, there's Chrissy Teigen, there's NASA.
Yep.
Let me see what's.
And I'm not
Oh,
sure whether they're categories.
no, that is literally a link to the NASA site.
All right.
This is a link to. This is still on site, so this is going to a slash Teigen Tales. So maybe it's like a Chrissy Teigen.
That's interesting because she definitely got like cancelled across a lot of social channels. Maybe they're trying to revive her or something.
Is GAWKER a parody site?
No, I'm pretty sure it's real, but it's like, I think it just takes that sort of modern approach of, from what I understand looking at this, that modern approach of media where it's like, yes, it's news, but also we're going to inject our personality into this and you're going to get sort of more opinion news than just like facts.
Because
So
giving you the facts is a bit boring.
yeah, it's a place you go where you like want to know details, but you're also like, it's entertainment at the same time, but not being like Women's Weekly kind of vibe of just like pure trash. At least there's like potentially some editorial integrity, maybe. Although saying that I haven't read anything, so I could be way off.
Yeah, I mean, there's. It's just. I just don't know what's going on. And okay, granted, I am not the regular reader, but I think most, if not all, websites and brands should try and at least be somewhat welcoming to almost any audience. I get it. You want to be, you want to talk to and communicate to your target audience, but looking at this though, I don't know that it necessarily speaks to a specific audience either.
I feel like everything they've done in terms of design and what I imagine their like writing style is like is on brand. Actually, I feel like, I mean, when it comes to GAWKER, it's a bit of an odd name, isn't it? And it's very like, just the whole vibe of it. I can't explain what it is, but the whole vibe of it seems to very much fit together. But I don't think that fits in with the kind of stuff that you'd be interested in reading. So I can understand why you're looking at this just like, what's going on? And then in terms of being welcoming, I feel like that sort of would definitely go against the GAWKER brand. And I think a lot of brands really try to lean into like not being as welcoming or like not fitting into that classic mold because that attracts that group of people that
certain demo
really just want to be away from that.
Because it's like a rebellious teenager vibe.
Yeah, that's true. But like also trying to be like a high-end editorial kind of thing, which is a weird mix.
Yes.
Like very artsy and brutalist, as you said before. That whole vibe.
Yeah, I wonder though, in comparison, like there's Womankind magazine, which I think is, see, this is what I'm talking about. I mean, this is maybe a bit more in the opposite direction for me, but I'm just trying to think of sort of comparison sites.
Yeah, I mean, I think to pedestrian TV, like that's something that I definitely consume myself, and I think, I mean, the whole publication is aimed at millennial kind of people, I suppose. This is probably slightly more mainstream. I think they were bought by like Channel 9 or Channel 7 or something, so they've kind of come back into the main, but they're very much like sarcastic headlines and they lean on like memes, and writing style is very much like swear words and batchy recaps and stuff like that. That's kind of trash, but then they also get some like really hard-hitting stuff as well.
Right, okay. Yeah, I mean, I've heard of pedestrian. Again, doesn't... Yeah, I'm not loving that when I hover, I can't... There's no... It's not reacting to my mouse. Like, it's showing me that it's clickable, but it's not necessarily... It almost looks... No, let's not go down that rabbit hole. I don't want to offend, but I will offend about this. I just don't know what's going on. I think I agree with you, Kelsey. It's got a certain aesthetic. It's hitting that aesthetic really well, but you know, I don't know that. Maybe there's
it's
a market.
It's not for you.
It's definitely not for me.
Yeah.
But, you know, from what I could tell, they've hired sort of a new team. They've been purchased by another company recently. So maybe this is all part of this rebrand. Even the use of sort of almost meme photography within their articles.
And And I've got to say, like, looking at this, I feel like they definitely run the risk of it becoming outdated quickly. Not that it's, like, in date or whatever, but, you know, at some point, this is not going to appeal to even their demographic, I feel like, fairly soon, and they're going to have to be updating it quite frequently to keep on top of the latest trends of website design, because it's very much in that brutalist trend that we talked about, and there's a lot of websites that follow the same kind of design, but I think it'll become outdated pretty quickly.
Yeah, definitely. Like this, because this is very much like on trend, and they're going to have to do something about it if they want to stay relevant moving forward.